Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Carlstrom and this is my Bio 331 project. In this presentation I'll analyze food competition between urban coyotes using the 4 levels of analysis, and I will explain the observed behavior to support each hypothesis with the primary research and relate behavioral concepts from this course. For this project I selected a behavior involving multiple coyotes feeding in an urban environment rather than focusing on feeding itself. I focused on how the coyotes interact with one another while accessing the same food resource. The 4 levels analysis provide a framework for explaining this behavior by examining its causation, development, evolution, and function. Each hypothesis is supported by a primary research article. Here is part of my video. I do kind of have to jump around and skip a little bit to see some different parts here. Kind of see them interacting a bit. Due to time, I'm going to have to cut this short. In that video, you can see different coyotes approach and pause at the food. They can move around. They move closer. They move farther away. They adjust their spacing. They monitor one another. Some individuals access the food and wait for others to reposition. But moving on to this causation, my first hypothesis examines the causation or immediate mechanism behind this behavior. I believe the behavior is triggered by the presence of a food resource combined with the presence of nearby coyotes. Visual clues, scent, and the location of other individuals all influence when a coyote approaches, pauses, or moves away from the food. Gilbert Norton and colleagues in 2013 found that social hierarchy influenced access to foods among captive coyotes, supporting the idea that the immediate environmental and social cues affect foraging behavior. My developmental hypothesis proposes that this behavior develops through learning and experience over time. As coyotes mature, they repeatedly interact with other coyotes while foraging and become more familiar with urban environments. These experiences can influence how individuals respond to competitors and human activity. Schnell and colleagues in 2018 found that parental habituation to human disturbance influenced the behavior of coyote offspring, demonstrating experience can shape behavioral development. For evolution, my evolutionary hypothesis is that competition for food reflects a long evolutionary history of coyotes as highly adaptable candidates. Natural selection has favored individuals that can successfully adjust their behavior as environments and food availability change. Mention in Samuels in 2012 showed that coyotes underwent evolutionary changes following the extinction of North American megafauna, contributing to the flexibility that allows modern coyotes to thrive in both wild and urban habitats. My functional hypothesis focuses on how this behavior reflects or benefits the coyotes. Competition around a food resource may increase an individual's chances of obtaining the energy needed for survival and reproduction. At the same time, responding appropriately to nearby competitors may reduce unnecessary conflict while maximizing feeding opportunities. Maury, Geese, and Gert in 2007 found that urban coyotes adjust their diets based on available food resources throughout the year, demonstrating flexible foraging behavior contributes well for survival. The behavior of this several concepts discussed throughout the class relates to foraging behavioral. Since the coyotes are obtaining and competing for valuable food resource, it also illustrates interspecific species competition because members of the same species interact while accessing limited food resources. An important concept is behavioral plasticity, which refers to animal ability. Thank you all for listening, and here are my citations.